An eargasm of learning and a no-fuss show. Welcome to the Creative Talk Podcast, where you can learn straightforward topics about branding, digital entrepreneurship, online business, and many more with your charming host, John Santos, along with inspiring entrepreneurs, creators, and thought leaders worldwide.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Creative Talk Podcast with me, John Santos, and we have a very, very special guest for today's episode. I am excited. Regardless of what's happening, with Facebook, Instagram, and then WhatsApp crashing down, I am so excited because of, first, our guest for today is very beautiful, very smart, very humble. Okay, that's the three major points. That's why I'm excited for today. And she's smiling. Next, she is a learning and performance consultant, guys. So how cool is that? Radio host. So that's why I'm, doing this extra spiel, because I'm trying to impress our special guest for today. She is a radio host of Press Play UK, founder of Modernmindgroup. Wow. Powerhouse. Now, this is the trick. I asked her off cam how to pronounce her last name. Let's see if I can do it correctly. Our special guest for today's episode is Melissa CURRAN. Welcome to the show, Melissa.
Thanks, Jan. It's absolutely brilliant to be here, and you pronounced it perfectly. Well done.
There you go. Woohoo. Melissa, I said this off cam and I'm going to say it again. Thank you for spending the time to be here with us in the show. I know you're a very busy person, time difference. It is a blessing to have you in the show.
Thank you so much, Jan. And it didn't take me much to say yes. I see all of your conversations you have with everyone else. I see the way that you set up the podcast. Listen to the energy that you have today as well. It's it was an easy answer for me, and so glad to be here. So thank you.
Wow. Well, I'm excited. I know our listeners and viewers are excited. Melissa, before we go on to the main point of sharing values about the certain topic, I'm excited to, have this opportunity for everyone to know a deeper side of who Melissa is. The question is, who inspires you, or what influenced you? Who or what influenced you to be in this position of greatness where you are right now? You're a successful person, reaching out, really connecting to people. So the floor is yours. Feel free to share your story, my friend.
Thank you, Jan. Who inspired me? Well, do you know what? Let's just go straight to it. The man that inspired me the most was my dad. My dad, he sadly passed away of a heart attack in 2015. But when I looked back on how he's influenced me over the years, and I was putting his eulogy together, and I was just thinking about how he's actually affected my life. My dad was an engineer. And no matter what I went to him with, no matter what problems, no matter what challenges that I was facing, what he said to me was, "You'll figure it out." And when I looked back after losing my dad at that moment in time, I realized he never gave me the answers. He listened, supported me, and said, "You'll figure it out." And figure it out, I did. So he was an engineer because, ultimately he was a tool maker. He would create things. He would tinker about with the car. He was very focused on finding out the truth or figuring out the answer. And therefore, he inspired me to do that. On the flip side of that, I also have my mum, who's incredibly inspiring, because my mum was a cruise ship singer. So my mum is very expressive when it comes to performing arts.
Melissa, can you sing?
So, I can sing, yes.
Sorry to cut you short, but I just want to ask, with that combination, arts, you need to get those genes. So, plus you're a host in the radio. There you go. So one step closer in singing. but please continue, my friend.
Well, interestingly, Jan, so that was part of my life. I grew up wanting to be a singer, always with a microphone in my hand. Hey, look at us now with our microphones, right? And so my dad on one side was the engineer, my mum on the other side was the expressive, really creative performing arts. She was a performing arts student as well. I was growing up. And she noticed that what I could do is pick up the scripts and the songs, and I could change my voice pretty quickly. And I was 6, and she was like, how are you remembering all this? So she sent me to, and she still to this day doesn't tell me why. She can't even remember why, but she sent me to elocution lessons. So I was 6 and I was learning on how to pronounce the words, how to emphasize my voice, how to pause, how to communicate. And it was an interesting time. I had to wear this, quite embarrassingly, I had to wear a very yellow lycra leotard. I don't know why I had to do that to speak. Imagine that. Imagine someone said to you, you can be a podcast host or a radio host, but you have to wear lycra. Is that okay? What? It's just bizarre. So anyway, back to the elocution lessons. I absolutely smashed them out of the park. I was 6, 7 years old. My mum sent me to these and I really enjoyed them. So I suppose from then we knew that I had sort of the courage to be able to speak and express myself. At the same time, my dad's kind of engineering influence in problem solving and solutioning. So as I grew up, I definitely had these strong influences in my life. I was then, I had a great teacher called Robert Palmer, who was the English literature teacher, who, from a psychology perspective, really, and as we know, looked at the subtext. What is not being said? What is the suppositions of what is going on with Macbeth or whatever it was? So with all of these different infusions, then of course my life was very much about being with the people and being confident to express myself with the people, but at the same time, strategically looking at things, being able to engineer things, being able to find solutions, reverse engineer, performance. So as I became older, I was very interested in sport, what it took to win. I played hockey. I was in athletics. I used to do high jump to the point that it didn't matter how many times I hit the bar down. It was very much about what it took to get that another centimeter, to get another inch. So I was very focused on that, but I had kind of the sport, I had the performance, the psychology side of it, but then I also had my mum sort of willing me to do performing arts and go into that direction. It ended up that actually I did performing arts, but then realized it wasn't really for me. Not that it wasn't for me in this context, but it wasn't for me in the fact that I wanted to act or I wanted to sing. I could do those things, but I was very driven towards the sports element. So I decided to do all of my courses in sports. I trained to be a personal trainer. I understood, the element of coaching from an early age, and especially through my sports kind of background as well. And then fast forward, in Wales, there was no real ability with fitness. There was no gyms. If you look now, there's gyms on every corner. Here, there's not in Wales. It's not like that. So in order for me to excel in that kind of field, I would have had to move away. In Swansea, it is, Dylan Thomas called it the graveyard of ambition. I wouldn't necessarily say that. I would say it's definitely the factories of the call centres. And that's what was in South Wales. So I ended up working in a lot of call centres, ended up doing sales, retail. I saw advertising space when I was just 17 for the newspaper. So I started to understand what business performance was like, while still really wanting to be a personal trainer. I then moved to London. I decided, actually, you've done these qualifications. You want to be a personal trainer. You're going to go for it. So I did that. I set up my own business, and then something wasn't right. I didn't really understand the art of what happened to scale a business or what it took to really grow. So I went back into the workplace, into sales, and then into performance management, because someone saw something in me that they linked the two together to really help to improve performance within the workplace. That took me on to be a management consultant, quite a good management consultant, I would say. I was always sent to fix things because my dad said I always figure it out. And I did that around the world. And then, I decided one day I didn't want to get on 4 planes a week and be 4 nights a week away from my husband. I wanted to do it for myself. And here I am today. So yeah.
Wow. Such an inspiring story. Like I could see like from A to B to C. Before we jump into the main meat, so to speak, I'm just excited. We were reviewing, we're checking out your website, your business that you founded, and it's very, unorthodox. You dealing with people, and there's a line there that really struck me. It's written there that you believe, but it's by text it's we, as the website says it. We believe that you will never change someone's mind if you cannot speak to their heart. Now that line really made an awakening. Can you give me some insights about this line and about the business, Modern Mind Group?
Yeah, speaking to someone's heart is how we emotioneer performance, and I call it emotioneering. We can speak to people from a workplace perspective, and when we have power as managers and as leaders, and when we employ people, there's an element of respect that comes with that. But there's also fear, because people don't want to lose their jobs. They don't want to be seen to be bad. All of these things that come with it. When you try to imagine when you're working with people that you have no authority, you have no accountability stick. There's no, you could get fired, none of that. How do you influence people when you have no accountability and there is no fear? So when you remove that and you remove the element of consequence from a perspective of losing a job, how do you influence someone with that emotion through the heart? And that's what we're really looking at. Emotioneering, to me, is all about moving people from fear towards courage to then gain confidence, because fear is a reaction, courage is a decision, and confidence is an absolute outcome. So that's what I mean by that. It's understanding that we are driven by emotion first before logic.
Ooh, I love that. That is a whole nugget. It's ready. I was excited to ask you that question because I know I'm gonna get like powerful learning nugget there. That's one content we're gonna be releasing. No, but I totally releasing.
I love that.
but yeah, I totally agree. I love that. How you craft that, and it's something that I would say it is something that is very needed in this generation. People need what you offer, not because you're the star, you're the spotlight in this episode, but because it's something authentic and it really makes a difference. I love that, and with that I totally respect you and full support, Melissa. I love what your message is all about. That's something that the world needs. Now, having said that, let's go to the main topic, because that was just a teaser and that is a whole masterclass already. Now, I'm excited, and I know our viewers and listeners are excited to know about, business tips to improve performance. From your experience, from your journey, Melissa, please share us those values. The floor is yours, my friend.
Okay. Thanks, Jan. It is a big topic. We don't have all day on the podcast, so let's cut to the low hanging fruit and the stuff that people can do right now. So there are actionable steps that you can do to make an impact to the people that you're working with right now. The first one is listen to them. Provide a space that's non-objective, and what I mean by that is that a lot of the time in the corporate world, we are driven by this thought about, if it isn't about work, then it's a waste of time. If it's not about work, if the conversation isn't about targets, if it isn't about tasks, then should I be really having the phone call? Yes, absolutely. This is about people. So I call them what's on your mind sessions. You can have goal setting sessions. You can have, one-to-ones. have a what's on your mind session. It's the session where you get to say, hey, what's going on with you? And what will happen first is your people will say to you, oh, well, I'm at like 25% away from my target and I've made this many calls and then this guy didn't get back to me today. And then you say, whoa, I didn't ask you about work. What's going on with you? Oh, right. Oh, I got a new puppy and I went out to salsa class on the weekend or whatever it may be. And suddenly you start to understand the person behind the role and what's going on. And we don't stop to ask those questions. There was a guy I was working with that didn't even know that a person on their team was getting a divorce. Like, how come everybody else knew, but the manager didn't know that was going on with someone? And of course, things like that are going to affect the performance. But if you don't create a space where people can just speak to you, like, have you ever thought this, right, Jan? And in the workplace or to the audience out there, have you ever thought, oh, they only ring me when they want something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That is. You just gave me memories. I started from level 1, and yes, me and a lot of people in that same situation. There was a joke that I remember when you asked that question. Back in the day, I think that was my first job, and after like 2 or 3 months, the management gave us free pizzas, and everyone except me, because I'm very hungry, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna eat it. And then all of my friends, co-workers were like, dude, why did they give us this food? They need us for something. That concept. So I was just reminded by that when you throw that question out. And yeah, that's true. It is happening.
Yeah. What they only want something. What do they want from me? Why are they doing this? And the thing is that you've got to ask yourself, what's my intention? If my intention is to get something done, that's the way it's going to come across. If my intention is to care about a human being and to help them develop their life, that's going to come across in a completely different way. It has to come from empathy and compassion. It can't come from anywhere else. Then that directs the activities in the business and you have a completely different team. I would rather my team be happy to have a phone call from me. So that is one thing that I can definitely say, do that. Secondly, the second thing, these are the 2 top things that I would always suggest you do. Find out what motivates them, because it isn't just the job. It isn't, they want a pay rise. They want to get married. They might want a new car. They might want to buy a new house. Actually, they want progression. They want to be able to learn from the best. They want access to the executive board. They want things. And if you don't know what they are, then how can you help someone with their performance, or to remind them and to help motivate themselves to get what they want? And just third point, before you tell someone what they need to improve on, make sure you've told them hell of a lot what they are great at. And that's it. 70% what you are good at, 30% on what you need to improve. And if it's not that balance, don't do it.
Wow. I was like, knowledge bomb, Melissa. 3 points. Could read. Wow. I'm speechless. Because first, I totally agree. It is such a transforming point. It seems so shallow, but it's not. If you really, ponder upon those points, you can really transform your business. You can build something, a connection within the management team and your team. And that makes a big difference in not only an output, but, the relationship between a company. And that, I think, is very important, aside from, the pay, the benefits, the output in the business side. Because I run my business also. I have people under me. I have team. I can't do it alone. It's a blessing. I have a wonderful team behind me. And that's the reason why I agree with what you shared. the connection between you and your team, for me, is the most important thing. To know them, when you shared those points, I was like reviewing myself. How do I run my business? Am I doing it correctly? Oh yes, good. No, but I totally agree, and I know our viewers and listeners are. It's either A, they're doing it correctly and so they can improve more, or B, it's an awakening for them that they need to transition bit by bit. I have a follow-up question, Melissa. Let's say the management understood that they need to do a transition, but there's a big barrier between the management and the team because they started on the wrong foot. So what can you do to change that mindset? Because you can't just snap, and the perspective of the team will be different from the management, but they don't know that the management want to do that transition. What can you share about that, Melissa?
Okay, so 2 points. So firstly, if there's a manager and they have a broken relationship with their team, they need to air it out. They need to actually, don't have a meeting, go get lunch, go have a walk, go somewhere and say, look, you need to address the elephant in the room. I don't know what's going on. I feel like I have a part to play in this. I would love you to tell me what has happened. Take responsibility and apologize for making them potentially feel the way that they are feeling, and then agree to improve it. And I've had to go down that path myself. It's about being humble enough and being open enough and honest enough to realize that we're not right all the time, and sometimes we've got to go back and just fix stuff. So that's the first thing. For the higher management team and the senior management team, between the middle management and then the frontline employees, I would suggest that they hold a town hall session. And what I mean by that is that they basically get all of the team, or as much of the team as they can, because some people might still need to, hold the roof up, or, take bookings, etc., things like that. So as much as the team as you can as possible, put together a presentation about the performance of the company, what the aims and objectives are. But then what you want to do is set up a Q&A. Now, the Q&A could be any questions that they can ask senior management, but the middle managers are present as well, so that everybody has an open forum. I wouldn't try not to worry about if you get a tricky question. If that happens, just say, thanks, you know what? It's a brilliant question. I don't have the answers for you right now. I'm going to come back to you on that point though, and I'll make sure that I email everybody else about it. So that as long as it's followed up, that's okay. What you could also do as well is ask some of your more engaged team members to provide you questions beforehand, so that when you start to put things up on the presentation, you already have some questions to answer. That then, a little bit like what happens on Clubhouse. Once one person starts to ask a question, everyone goes bing, 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 hands go up. That way, your team just want to be listened to. Let them tell you all the bad stuff, so that you can help improve it, and then they will start to love you. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that's John C. Maxwell, not me. I love him.
I love that. When you quoted that, I was like, ooh, points. Melissa, thank you so much. Those are amazing tips that really makes a difference. Thank you. And for that follow-up question, that is again a power bomb there. Knowledge bomb after knowledge bomb. Thank you so much, Melissa. You are amazing. Thank you so much. I learned a lot. And I'm sure our viewers and listeners learn a lot as well. Thank you so much. But, Melissa, we are not done yet. No. We're not done yet, my dear. We started off you sharing your story, and then we followed up with sharing values after values after values. Now it's time for us to play a game. Are you ready?
I love a game. You're asking the performance consultant whether she loves a game.
Well,
I love a team game, but hey.
Nice. Well, it's a simple tradition here in the show that we call the Creative Fast Talk. I will ask you questions that you are not allowed to spend much time thinking what the right answer would be. The first word that comes into your mind, boom, you say it. You are not allowed to lie.
I don't lie.
That's a lie. No, I'm just kidding. This is just, we started this game thing in the show to have that human aspect, to humanize the brand, so to speak. People knows that, okay, the guest is an expert and it's so intense about sharing topics and values. And now this is the part where they have a perspective that, yes, Melissa is a human after all. She laughs. She doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know what to say. It's just having a great time. And that's, the value of life. Enjoy and be happy. Right?
100%. I'm with you, Jan. Let's do this.
Right, let's do this. Question number 1, my dear. Sun or snow?
Sun.
All right. Second question. Structured or chaotic?
Oh, gosh. I was going to say structure. I've got to say structure.
Really? I'm going to ask you again. Structure or chaotic?
See, my heart says chaotic. My head says structure. You get both with me.
All right. Let me just ask you, why? Why were you thinking structured or chaotic? Well, what's the story behind that?
Because creativity doesn't exist in structure.
Exactly.
It exists in being.
Yes.
And so that's why I as much as I structure things, I allow flexibility in my life, because sometimes the structure has to go out the window.
Right.
And then plan B, plan C, plan D, plan D.
Right.
So
okay.
That's
I understand.
It's a tough one.
Yes. I took up fine arts, major in advertising, so I feel that. Being an artist, yes, good. Next question, my dear. Love or money?
Love, 100%. Like, I'm the heart woman.
Aw, I love that.
I am the passion for people. I know. I'd be penniless. And the more I get, the more I give. That's just me.
I love that. My respect for you just go up and up and up. I love that. Next question, my dear. If you were an animal, what animal would you be and why?
Oh, this question. See, it's weird. Because being a Welsh woman, I'm obviously drawn to a mythical creature that does not exist and actually is nothing probably like me.
Sure.
The dragon, but it's on the flag. But I bought a book about where that comes from, by the way, the other day, because as a Welsh woman, I needed to understand the flag a bit more. But anyway, let's go to what animal I would be.
Right.
Elephant.
Okay. Why?
Elephant.
Why an elephant, my dear?
Because I remember stuff. I'm so good at remembering. I remember what people say, and I remember conversations. I remember moments to the point that people go, "You remember that?" I'm like, "Yeah." Wow. I don't remember. I'm not good with remembering numbers and stuff like that, but things people say, I remember a lot.
So you do remember like your friends back in senior high, their names, things like that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Like I even when I meet people, I remember their names like quite quickly. So when I worked in a gym, just very briefly, we had to know 70%. No, it wasn't even 70%. I think it was like 25% of the people on the floor at any one time. So they would ask you, the managers would come around and ask you as part of kind of an audit or assessment. Right. I used to know almost everybody's names. And they'd leave the gym and come back and were like, "You remember me?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like, wow. Because it meant something. So I'm just very conscious, I think, of conversation. That's why I bring a lot of energy.
I think it's a gift. It's a gift. It's connected to your character and who you are, helping people. The mere fact that you remember people, it means they have a space in your mind and your soul. So, that's a beginning of something great. So that's me. But wow, I'm amazed. I'm amazed. Next question, my dear. Popcorn and movies or dinner and dancing?
Oh, dinner and dancing.
I love that.
Dinner
I was expecting
and dancing
that answer,
all day. Let's go.
All right, next. Melissa, are you a passenger or a driver?
Oh my God, a driver, 100%.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm not great as a passenger on a plane. I'm not great as a passenger in a car. Yeah, I don't know. Something happened to me probably at a fairground ride or something where I fell out of control, and then I was like, I have to have the wheel. Stop the bus.
All right.
So yeah, no, that's me.
All right. Okay. I love that. I love you, Melissa. I love the vibe. All right. Next question. Mountains or the beaches?
Oh no, both. No,
You only
no, the
need
beach.
to answer.
I'm a
All right.
Do you know what? I'm gonna pick paddleboarding, a beach.
Oof.
It has to be.
Nice. You will love the Philippines if that's the case. So who knows?
I hope to get there one day.
Yeah, when things are back to, well, not back to normal, but sorted out. Next, Melissa, what are you afraid of, my dear?
Oh gosh, we have to go there. So do you want the really deep answer? Or do you want
Sure.
this?
The spotlight is on you, Melissa. What are you afraid of?
Dying.
Oof. Why, my dear?
That's it.
Why?
That's because I got so much to give and so much to do and so many people I want to help. And the last thing I would want to do is just not be here. My life is not lived yet. I haven't, and yeah. So I think that to me that's that, and therefore then that links to the spiders and the bees and the
Right.
they're like, yeah. So that's that, and flying, because it's not really the plane itself, right? It's the good night.
Love that.
Yeah,
Love that.
know,
It is something serious. Wow. But I totally understand. Next question. What's your favorite color?
Blue. Blue is my favorite color.
Movies or books?
Books.
All right.
Books.
Since you answered
Okay.
books, there's a follow-up question. Name your top 3 books or author of all time.
Okay. Oh, I got loads, but okay. So books that really affected me: Grit, Angela Duckworth, The Power of Passion and Perseverance. The stuff you learn in there about actual success is just unbelievable. I have to say Frontline Profit Machine by Ziad Corey, because when I read it, I was like, well, yes, this is all performance stuff in one place. You know, you add the Melissa mix in, and then that's where you get the results. And
Last one.
Another book, last one. What would I tell people to take? I'm gonna say Factfulness by Hans Rosling.
I saw that, but I don't have that book. I saw that. There's good reviews about it. Ooh.
destroyed everything just to get this
Relax,
book. Here
Melissa,
it is.
relax. Oh, yeah, that's it. I saw that. Yeah.
It's amazing. I picked this book up by accident when I was on a delayed flight, and I think it's one of the best books, and I talked about it a lot in the pandemic because it forces you to look for the truth. It forces you to look for the facts. And one of the questions, have we got time for me to just tell you this one quick thing?
You are the star of the show, my dear. Go.
Thanks, Jan. There's a question in it, and it asks you, multiple choice, out of the world's population, what percentage of children under the age of 5 are vaccinated? And it will say 30%, 50%, 80%. What do you think it is?
What, 80%?
It is 80%.
Oof.
It's 80%. Whereas actually, if you ask most people, they'll go 30%. Because the media and everything that we see is obviously high surveillance and it's driven into one direction. But then when you seek, but anyway, the point is, Hans Rosling went and asked these questions to world leaders, multiple choice. They scored less than 30%.
Really?
And what his point is that if he threw bananas, 3 bananas into a monkey cage with A, B, and C written on them, the monkeys would score better by not knowing anything.
Exactly. Wow. Sold. I'm going to get that. I'm going to get that book. All right. Next question, my dear. What is your dream superpower and why?
Oh, I 100% would do this. Yeah, I would click my fingers and food would appear. I just cannot stand that people are hungry in this world. Like, it is the worst feeling. And no one deserves to go hungry. I just don't believe that we need to be in a world where people starve.
You know what, Melissa? You are the first who answered that. That is, unique answer in that question. Wow. And I love how you connect it to something more realistic and serious. Wow. That's nice. All right. This last question, Melissa, can be something serious depending on how you will take the question. All right. Last question is, if you have the power to bring back someone back from the dead, who would it be and why?
Oh gosh, you went there. You made me quite emotional. It would be Dad, 100%.
Yes.
Like, I would just love to give him the biggest hug right now and just tell him how much I love him and ask him, what do you think of emotioneering, Dad? And he'd probably go, ooh, figured it out. He'd probably say or something.
Wow.
I don't know. But yeah, I would love to just see him. Plus, he wasn't at our wedding, and I would just love to know his thoughts on that. So,
well,
love
Melissa,
you, Dad.
I'm sure he is so proud of you and he loves you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Melissa. Sharing your story, sharing those knowledge bomb, and, having fun with us here in the show. Now, Melissa, I know you're a very busy person. You have online events, releases, social media platforms, anything you want to promote, feel free. The floor is yours, my dear.
Thank you, Jan. So, guys, I've been talking about emotioneering quite a lot. I have a podcast. It's called the Emotioneering Podcast. You can obviously find it on all platforms. So it would be great to have you listen, especially knowing your Jan's audience that, you must be incredible as well, because Jan is pretty incredible. And just check it out. I go through a lot of mindfulness stuff in the first. So it is very about a modern mindset. So talk about emotional intelligence and expression, communication, and how to find confidence in there. And also, by all means, you can go to the website. You can go to modernmindgroup.co.uk or .com, either way. And if you click on free resources, you can go to the free courses. So I've got 4 free courses that you can download completely for free. They're introductory courses. Yeah. And you can check them out. So there you go.
Wow, guys. Please do connect with Melissa CURRAN. I'm sure she can help you in your journey towards success. Please connect with her. I am excited how she can transform your life, your business to the next level. This is Jan Santos with the beautiful and talented Melissa CURRAN saying, have a positive outlook in life. Smile. God bless you all.
Thank you for being with us here on the Creative Talk Podcast. I'm your host, John Santos. Don't forget to listen and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. See you again, always.